What foods are absolutely delicious, but are a pain in the ass to eat? Pomegranates. Pain the bud seeds, and the juice really stains. One time I spent God knows how long opening a pomegranate, finally got all the delicious seeds out, took a bite, and found out I'm allergic to pomegranate, and I did all that for nothing. My dad makes a really delicious cherry jam, but he doesn't remove the stones, because spitting them out is part of the experience. Your dad wanted to meet the deductible on your dental plan. Prickly pear, also known as cactus fruit. These are a pain in the ear at every step. Picking them is a huge risk for getting stabbed by cactus needles. Peeling the skin off is way more challenging than other fruits, and then they are full of seeds that cause major GI discomfort if you bite into them by accident. Pineapple, so nice, but they literally eat your mouth, or the enzymes do. If you've never had it, you should try cooking pineapple with brown sugar and cinnamon. I had it at a Brazilian restaurant and one other place. I couldn't stop eating it, so good, and didn't have that pesky tingling in the mouth after eating a lot. You can make it at home in the oven too. Crab legs. Blue crabs, so much work for those teeny tiny bits of deliciousness. Coconut. Always have hard times breaking the shell and then picking all the delicious coconut meat. Axe swing. Those caramel apple lollipops. The question is, how does one eat these? Edit. Majority of the people who've responded saw ops comment as caramel apples instead of caramel apple pops as it was written, as did I. Awkward lol. Any sour candy with the sugar crystals on them. Feel so good until you've had a certain amount, and then you just start scraping the roof of your mouth and your tongue raw. Edit. You'll have some good tastes in candy. Ah yes, the pain salt. My favorite part of sour candies. My favorite pizza destroys my insides the next morning, if that counts. Edit. I don't have any issues with lactose or gluten. I just really like spicy foods. There's a place near me who makes a pizza with 40 cloves of garlic and about a pound of spicy pepperoni on it. It is probably my favorite food, but I'm the stinkiest methodica alive the next day. Edit. To save replying to everyone individually, it's Pizza My Heart. They have locations all over the San Jose area. The Big Sur and Little Sur both have it with other toppings, but you can also get 40 cloves and add whatever else you want. I do this and add double pepperoni. It's a rare treat for me. All their pizza is really good, even if you don't go for one of their crazier specialties. I'm glad to drive them business because they're awesome. Mangoes. They are my favorite fruit, but least favorite to clean up. Edit. AI, thanks for all the karma, friends. And thank you for the good tips for eating my mangoes. Just eat them over the sink while shirtless. There's a type of wild asparagus in the south of France that's absolutely delicious to eat. But you can only eat it in small quantities, as too much will give you diarrhea. So quite literally a pain in the A. I wanna get constipated as hell and chow down on these freaky asparagus. Fresh pineapple. I eat while the acidity eats away at me. Pro tip from the Caribbean. Peel the pineapple. Rub salt all around the outside. Be generous with the salt, no biggie. Rinse the salted pineapple with cold water. Cut that bitch up and eat the whole ducking thing at once if you want. I always got an itchy/sore mouth after eating pineapple growing up, but only when I'd eat it anywhere except at home. My dad does it the above way because that's how things are done back home. So that's why when he peeled a pineapple it never bothered me. I introduced my very white girlfriend to it and her mind was blown. Artichokes. You can't beat a fresh artichoke, but whole leeches it takes ages to prep and cook, and then you don't get that much out of a relatively expensive, at least in the UK, vegetable. Ever had a fresh jackfruit? They taste delicious, like a cross between a leaflet pineapple and a banana, but good god the sap. The sap of a jackfruit is a construction grade adhesive, and it is nearly impossible to open and eat without getting it everywhere. You can just barely get it off is by scrubbing with oil and then soap and water. The trick is to run your hands in oil before you open it. Works like a charm. Or wear gloves and rub oil on them. Edit. Rub your hands in oil. Not run, but it sounds funny so I'll leave it. Cap'n Crunch. Ugh, the roof of my mouth. So good though. The secret is to get the malt oatmeal bagged version of it. Tastes way better and softer than the original. Toffee, so fkin good to eat, but it's annoying as hell if it gets stuck in between your teeth. Get it out with a claw of a hammer. Most people in the West consider carp to be a trash fish. You catch it and then you throw it away. But it's actually the first domesticated fish, farm raised for thousands of years in China. It's a delicious fish that takes on the flavor of whatever you decide to spice it with, and it can be cooked in a number of ways. However, it has a million tiny hair-like bones, and it is a pain in the ear to clean and fillet. I think that's mostly why people don't eat it when they catch it. It's just really difficult to get all those bones out. I found the easiest way to deal with those hair-like bones is to either cook chunks of the fillets in a double broiler or to pickle the fillets. Both methods completely dissolve/remove those hair-like bones, so you don't really have to mess around with them. They just kind of disappear. But for a large fish with a good meaty fillet, it's in my top 10 common fish to catch and eat. As a runner-up, gar is also a delicious fish that many people don't consider eating. The hardest part about cleaning a gar is cutting through their armor. And I don't mean scales or skin, I mean it's like cutting through thin steel. You need tin snips or the sharpest knife in the world. But once you get through that, you get 2 long back straps that firm up and honestly taste like chicken. They have a texture when cooked like a firm chicken breast. And like carp, they also kind of take on the flavor of whatever you spice it with. Neither species tastes fishy at all and are fun to prepare and cook and eat. Edit, I've been informed that it's double boiler, not double broiler, but I've only ever heard of the latter, so I'm gonna chalk that up to regional differences like soda vs pop. Edit 2, okay. Double boiler. Duck, sorry I've been wrong my whole life. You knew what I meant. Imma try this. Thanks internet homie. Certain hot sauces about a day later. I never made the connection between heat going in and heat coming out until one of my roommates commented on it. Now I worry whenever I eat spicy food. I wish she had never told me so I wouldn't have to worry about it. Con. It's not particularly hard to eat, but it's just annoying to eat. It's delicious and I love it with salt, pepper, and butter, but the kernels always get stuck in my teeth, and it stays there for far too long, and can be difficult to remove. Okay, this might sound really weird, but maybe it'll help. I'll take a bite of like 2 to 3 rows of kernels, then go to the top row above the cleared space, put my front teeth on top, and bite/pull down, so the kernels come out clean of their little upodds. Then I do that lengthwise, right to left, and then start all over again with the next top row. Some people make fun of me for it, but at least I'm not getting it stuck between my teeth anymore. I just realized I eat corn like an old-fashioned typewriter types. Helpful visual reference I guess. Instead of looking like the top, which is what I usually see, mine looks like the bottom in this post. Here is a tutorial for y'all. Edit, I really thought my one-off comment wouldn't gain this much traction, but wow am I glad there are so many people who also eat corn this way. Also makes me giggle that my most upvoted comment is about corn. Shout out to my aesthetic corn on the cob eaters, y'all are not alone. Edit #2, also added some visual aids. Depending on where you get them, flippant tacos. It's like this stupid new trendy thing to put them in the smallest possible taco and then mound so much food on it that every single time you take a bite, half of the food in the taco falls out. Absolutely stupid. Yeah, this isn't a taco problem, it's a messy food problem. I love burgers, but when you try to get too aggressive with the toppings you end up with a disaster. Sunflower seeds. Take forever to get a handful and gone in seconds. In Belgium you generally buy already peeled sunflower seeds. When I went to China I actually discovered how much I like them with the shell still on. It gives a nice flavor. They're often flavored, e.g. salted, and you can spend a very long time snacking on them without eating that many. Fish that still has bones in it. Some fish can be fried to make the small bones and fins crunchy, and you can crunch right through them. Pistachios. I love pistachios. I bought the shelled ones from Costco, but it's not the same experience. The process of opening them and the timing of one every 10 seconds or so. I could eat a whole bag. Crawfish. Being from Baton Rouge, I love a good crawfish boil, but the time and effort it takes to peel them makes it a pain in the ass for sure. Some people are better at peeling than others, and I'm better than average I'd say, but it still can cut up your fingers. Also, with the time it takes to peel them vs the low yield, I usually just have to fill up with the corn and potatoes. Otherwise I'll just be hungry still, no matter the amount. Still a fun and tasty event. Eating crawfish is a fun thing to do with a bunch of friends/family. Sit around a table, make a mess, have a few beers, and have some fun conversations. But yeah, it's a pain in the ass to peel them, and I'm not very good at it. I'm not from the south, so I rarely practice. I also will just go ahead and eat more corn/tatters to fill myself up. Oranges. I love the taste and juice, but they make your hands super sticky. Make it a shower orange. Tear into it like a madman, no need to worry about the mess. The Nature Valley granola bars. Those are an outdoor only snack. I don't know if you guys get Toblerone in the US, but it's basically delicious Swiss chocolate, shaped to duck up the roof of your mouth. Aren't you supposed to break off a piece with your hands and then eat it? Blue crabs. They are tiny little creatures, take a lot of work to open and get the meat, but they are the best tasting things ever cooked. Reading this as I scour Southern MD for anyone selling live hard shell crabs. Lychees. You gotta twist them off the branch, peel off the rough skin, chew the sweet delicious fruity flesh off and somehow prevent yourself from accidentally swallowing the stone. But it's worth it for that sweet goodness. I've always thought lychees are quite simple and easy to eat. Break through the skin with your fingernail around it, crack it open, and you can plop out the lump of flesh like an eyeball. Barbecued watermelon slices. If you put a slice of watermelon on a barbecue, the outside caramelizes, while the inside stays juicy. But you have to sit there watching it thinking I could have eaten it by now. Till you can BBQ watermelon. Kiwis taste beautiful, but they leave an annoying feeling in your tongue. Like you just sipped boiling water. Edit, till I have a kiwi allergy. That's a mild allergy. Crawfish. There's a method to where you can lightly bite the tail meat and tug it out, while you pinch the end of the tail. Thus, not needing to peel any of the tail sections off. Pop the head off, squeeze and suck, then yank the tail meat out. Done. Popcorn. The little stupid stuff gets stuck in your gums, and then you have to pull it out. One time a piece got stuck and made my gum bleed so much it looked like I just tried to drink someone's blood. Edit. Jesus Christ, people actually read this. O__O. I've had a kernel shell stuck in my throat for like 6 days at this point. I can't tell if it eroding, or if my body is just not as annoyed by it anymore, since it stopped hurting. Lemons or limes. I love eating them alone, and I would eat them every day, but they destroy my teeth and mouth. So sad. I love the smell of lime juice and sliced lemons so much. Sometimes I stand in my kitchen just sniffing a lemon and worry that my neighbors can see in and will think I'm weird. Oranges. I need to mentally hype myself up to peel an orange. I'm not talking about the wee satsumas. No, I'm talking about the oranges with the thick skin that you need to claw your way into and then find orange zest under your fingernails for the next week. Love me an orange though. You claw your way in. Use a knife. Side show bob. Everything when you have a cut in your mouth, all of a sudden even water stings sometimes after that. It'd say really scalding hot foods that make you sass, not even able to really taste the food sometimes. I used to get bad canker sores and it just ruined the experience of eating until it went away. Buffalo wings were tough, so if I got one in football season, oof. Fortunately been a while since I've had one now. Soup dumplings are incredible. Unfortunately, they require 1. Picking it up with tongs to avoid breaking it and letting it leak. 2. Placing the dumpling on a spoon. 3. Biting the top portion off only. 4. Taking a spoon of vinegar or soy sauce and pouring it into the open part. 5. Eating it whole the first few tries. I kept breaking them and it leaked, essentially ruining it. Tongs? What? Use chopsticks. Pick up the dumpling from the folds. There should be anywhere between 8 to 12 folds depending on who made them. Guaranteed not to break it that way. As a male and esteemed crabs, I see a lot of people saying crawfish and crab legs, but steamed crabs take the cake. There's so much work just for minuscule amounts of crab meat, and there's many different ways to pick a crab. Each crab takes about 2 minutes, and that's if you're decent. The payoff is well worth it, because there's nothing like crabs with some Old Bay and a natty boh on a hot summer day. Don't forget you always end up getting your hands all cut up by the spikes and the salt, and Old Bay gets crammed up in there. Cadbury eclairs. One of my favorite chocolates, but they're so hard to chew. Plus, once you manage to actually bite into it, it gets so stuck in your teeth. Or you get cocky and try to eat 2 at once, and then your mouth is glued shut for the next half an hour. That's definitely never happened to me. Mango, best fruit ever, but the strings you have to pick from your teeth make me think twice before eating it. There's a variety of mangoes. One of them is Alfonso. They're expensive, but you don't find the strings in them. Ribs or wings. I love eating ribs in a restaurant, especially beef ribs. It's like a free pass to be a barbarian in public. Definitely lobster. Captain Crunch cereal. Yeah, I have to space it out. Can't eat it on back-to-back days. Prawns. They take so goddamn long to prepare, but Jesus, I love them. That's why my habit is to show up conveniently at someone else's place that already did all of that. I'm surprised no one said the durian. It's delicious, but the smell is disgusting. I'm convinced durian love/hate is genetic, like why cilantro tastes like soap to some people. My only taste of durian was a durian McFlurry in Singapore, which was okay for the first few bites. The texture of frozen durian was like mango, and the flavor not too strong. But as it thawed it got stronger and stronger, and soon I couldn't stomach it, and passed it off to a friend. I'm in the it smells like gasoline camp, although when my dog started have anal gland issues, I recognize that smell as reminding me of durian. Yikes. Extra crispy hard shell tacos. Cherries with seeds. Also watermelon. Cherries are great. TBH, I don't really mind the seed being in it, but with watermelon there can be so many seeds and I get stressed out by them for no reason. I really love them though. Jackfruit. I first didn't know what you meant, and then I realized that I've only had jackfruit that was already cut up into partitions. I never had to deal with the entire olive thing myself. That one piece of chicken. You all know what I'm talking about. The oyster? But so tasty, but then the entire world has to stay inside their house for a while. I blame Ozzy. Walnuts. Hard to open. Just use the butt of a handgun as a hammer. If one refuses to crack, shoot it as a lesson to the others. Caramel dipped apple sticks. They are downright impossible to eat. It's better to just slice them. Rocky Mountain Chocolate Factory makes the best ones, and they'll cut them for you. Edkill for a cookies and cream 1 RN. Oysters. If you're doing the cracking, an oyster knife and a hand towel you'll wash after. You get the rhythm of it after about a dozen, and it just becomes muscle memory. Former chef that had to shuck thousands when he was a prep cook. Why is no one mentioning fish? It has so many spikes. Is there any fish or any way of cutting fish that removes every spike? I'm from third world and have heard about MCD Filet-O-Fish. Like, how does that fish doesn't have spikes? Enlighten me please. Not a big fish expert, and also never had a Filet-O-Fish, but where I live you can buy fillets of fish in the supermarket. Basically the people preparing it know where to cut to not have any fish bones. It's not a 100% fail-proof method. I found a fish bone in my fish fillet a couple of times, but those are definitely more the exception than the rule. Here's a video of a guy explaining clearly how he fillets his fish. Though I do feel like pocking at a whole piece of cooked fish to get every last bite also has its charm. The big baseball-sized oranges with the ducky tough peels. Turmeric is so healthy for inflammation and brain disease, but get that stuff on your clothes. Also mangosteens. A delicious fruit about the size of a grape, but the shell is the size of a small lemon and hard as wood and slippery to cut. A chicken and bacon sandwich. It's the only food where I'm out of breath by the end of it. Is this an American thing, or do you literally mean chicken and bacon on bread? Trout. Getting the spine and bones out is a pain. I'm pretty sure more of a pain than fish on average. If you have the entire trout, like you caught it yourself, then there's a method where you can cook the entire thing. Then after it's done you make some snips at the tail, pull on the tail, and the spine and bones comes out pretty easily. However, if you don't want to go that route and you want to fillet it, good luck. Also seems like fillets you get from the store will often have bones in them. Trout is a fish I'd debone after cooking every time. Then the spine and bones come out easy. I just realize how lazy some people are in this post. I thought there was going to be some interesting exotic foods in this thread, but it's mainly nuts and juicy fruit. Salty shelled peanuts. So messy but so damn good. Whole artichokes. It's a hassle to cut them, remove the choke, and then when they're ready you have to bite the leaf just right to avoid it splitting and getting the fibers in your mouth. Still, nothing beats a fresh artichoke. Canned artichoke hearts can't scratch that itch. PLS tell me I'm not the first mfa to say meatball sub. Crab, you have to fight your way to the meat. It's annoying as hell. Mochi ice cream. Basically forced to bite ice cream. My teeth hurt just reading this. Corn on the cob. Hand me those 5 packs of dental floss please. Any fish meal that isn't a fillet of fish. I just cannot be bothered with all the tiny bones. Pineapple. It eats you back. Lobster. So much work for so little meat, but damn is it so good dipped in hot butter. Sauce, from Maine. As an Indian, pani puris are known as golguppas. Those huge balls of spicy water-filled puris are difficult to eat without straining your dress, especially if you are eating them near the street vendors. Tompoes, a Dutch pastry. It's basically 2 slices of puff pastry stuff, filled with 2 inches of pastry cream, and topped with a thin layer of colorful, usually pink, icing. One bite and the whole thing collapses, pushing out the cream on all sides. Sounds like a vanilla slice. I love those duckers, but that first bite always presses the 2 pastry layers together, forcing the internal custard out in every direction except your mouth. Crab legs. First off, it is like getting in a fight with a big bug, and usually there is not enough to fill me up, so I'm always hungry afterwards. Then they are just so messy to eat. When my husband is out of town, I sit naked on a towel at the dining room, pull my hair back and get cracking, letting the melted butter run down my face, arms and chest. He would be mortified to see me getting all primal. Maybe you should do it in the bathtub, or sitting in the bottom of the shower. Hamburgers. Or it is just me. I mean I like them, but I would need my mouth 3 times bigger, and using a cutlery it is constantly on the verge of collapse. Agree, unless it's a very small hamburger. Oral sex presents the same problem. Every single food in existence the second you have a toothache. Carpus in adobo. Pageratus fritus. Man, skinny bones everywhere. Everything bagels. Those seeds get everywhere and there's nothing you can do to prevent it. You can buy everything basil seasoning. Plain basil plus cream cheese plus everything basil seasoning on top. Avocados. I hate having to creatively cut them, and then when I do, if they are just a little overripened, they are brown in spots, so you don't get the full avocado. But if they're hard it's much worse, because then you're just eating hard butter and it's sad. There's that special 30-second interval, where they are full ripened but not rotting. Extra points for the ones where half is decaying, and the other half is still like a rock. 99% of restaurants serve them not really ripe. Crabs. The meat may be sweet, but it's a pain going through the shells with the cracking and separating. For me it'd be Big Macs from McDonald's. Every time I get one I have to shovel off the mere amount of lettuce they put on there, evenly spread about the sauce with the pickles, so I don't get one absolutely dry bite, and one saucy bite. Even then, while I'm eating it bits and pieces will fall down my arm and annoy the duck out of me, while the actual burger itself is probably sliding about out of center from the bun. There's a way to eat burgers like this. Pick it up the way you see it done in commercials, with your fingers on top and your thumbs on the bottom near the front. Then move your pinkies from the top of the burger to the bottom, at the back, and make sure your index, middle, and ring fingers are covering all of the top, from front to back. That way, you can lightly squeeze your pinkies against your ring fingers to keep the back of the burger from falling apart and everything falling out, and squeeze your thumbs against your index fingers to prevent the same thing at the front. In addition, it lets you press on the top of the burger with your middle fingers, so all the ingredients and sauces don't huddle up and try and ambush you. If you take a big bite, you can gradually increase the pressure and nibble away at them as they are pushed out of the front of the burger at a 100% controlled rate. That cuts the burger down to size and makes it easy to polish off, while vastly decreasing the chance that it will explode into layers of stuff going in all directions, or blast you, or the person across the table from you, with your sauce. Basically, it gives you a full control grip on the burger from all directions, so it can't go off like a culinary grenade. This entire thread is a rebuke of intelligent design. The irony is that most modern fruits are intelligently designed through human selection and breeding. Usually they started off being more work with less nutritional payoff. This is on top of the fact that many of these fruits were evolutionarily designed to be spread by mammals in the first place. Kiwi fruit, they are delicious, but it's so annoying to get the skin off or to get the timing just right when they are ripe, because if you get it wrong then they don't taste that good. Cut them in half. Get a spoon. Eat out of each side like it's a bowl. Oh my, you watched until the end? That's fucking awesome, dude. Thanks for watching.